got breaking news, kind of, ish, as the Chicago Bears make a trade for a defensive end that, I guess if you wanted to replace Dayo Adangbo's production, you found the right guy, as they go out and they get Joe Tryon from the Cleveland Browns. We got to talk about what kind of impact he could bring to the team. Also have to talk about what this probably means for the guys who are a part of this team currently. All that and more on today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do.
Push the button. Come on. Push the button. Come on, push the button.
Yeah, come on, push a button.
You heard what she said.
Y'all heard what Sue Young said. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. Now, we don't know if this is going to be all of the moves that the Chicago Bears are going to make today. There could be more moves coming here. Still 2 hours to go, hour and a half to go till the trade deadline hits here. But the Chicago Bears have gone out and added what I would call more edge depth than anything, as they make a trade with the Cleveland Browns for defensive and outside linebacker, defensive end in this system. 6'5", 260-pound Joe Tryon. Remember, he was a really nice player out of Washington. Started his career with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and ended up kind of being behind all of the other guys. Kind of got that Dayo Adangbo treatment. He was about 4 sacks, 5 sacks, 2 sacks that final year, but he was behind all of the other guys on that defensive line. And so when they brought him over to Cleveland this season, they thought that there was going to be much more impact from him. 26 years old, fits kind of that Dennis Allen mold of defensive end that he likes to have out there. I mean, I think at this point we know what type of defensive end, I almost hit the wrong thing. I think we know what kind of defensive end Dennis Allen wants to add to his system. You traded essentially nothing for him. To me, I think right now, the question is this just depth, or is this a guy that you feel you're going to bring in here in a very similar role to Dayo Adangbo? And I know a lot of people look at Austin Booker and you say, well, of course, Austin Booker's been a part of this system. He's been, one of the big guys who has had the big preseason, instantly had a sack to start the season when he got himself healthy to go. So of course he's going to be the main guy that they go to in this situation. And I still have question marks on that. To me, I think that, when I look at a guy like Joe Tryon, I see a guy who fits exactly what Dennis Allen wants to do. I think you need to give Austin Booker a ton more time, but Joe Tryon comes in and fits that mold very similar to what Dayo Adangbo was. And so we will see how he is utilized here in Chicago. By the way, this season through 8 games, not a single sack on the season. What he has been really good at is creating pressure, though, this year. And I do think that is something that the Chicago Bears team definitely needs. You've got a guy, I know the sack numbers are what everybody's going to look for there, but having a guy who can get home, who can create pressure and be in the face of the quarterback is going to be something that this Bears team does need here. And he's somebody who in limited snaps has been able to do that. You can't even say, that he's been dominant. I think that this is a move of hopefully, finding a diamond in the rough yet again. Is this a move that leads you to believe that they're going to make a big signing, or that they're going to be, in the market for a big trade down the line? Probably not. You gave up, I guess, probably what he's worth to go get him as far as production this year. But I'm trying to find the right way to say this. It's not a move that I think helps the defensive line, right? It's not a move where I'm sitting here looking at Joe Tryon and I'm like, oh, this guy's got it, right? He played 539 total snaps last season. He had 2 sacks in that time. And maybe they think, with more time on the field, you will get more opportunity out of him. He's played 31 total snaps this year. All right. So You haven't even seen what this guy is truly going to look like. You're hoping that, out of those 34 snaps, the ones you saw the pressures on is the reality, but it's a body. You traded for a body. That's kind of the bottom line on this. And it's not a move that I think truly helps your defensive line. Your defensive line right now is completely depleted, especially at the edge rusher position. You're bringing in Joe Tryon to hope that you can get a little bit more of what you got out of him in, 2 years ago, I believe, in 2023. I played 577 snaps. He had 5 sacks that season. He had 30 solo tackles, 10 assisted tackles, and had 1 forced fumble. So the hope is that you can get more of that, what you saw out of him. And listen, he is still a young player. He is still a young piece. I'm not saying that it's the end all be all. It's not a move to me that I look at and I go, oh my God, this is something that actually helps the defensive line. It's something you're taking a chance on. And I'll be honest with you, seeing the history of Ryan Poles right now, take a chance on guys have not worked out for you. Right? The guys that you've taken a chance on have not turned into the pieces that you've thought that they were going to be. And I think that's the part for me where I look at it and I'm like, all right, well, like, I get it. You want to take a chance. You want to develop. You want to find that diamond in the rough, but that works when you're good at it. The Chicago Bears have not been good at it over the last couple of years. Right? Maybe you're getting better at it. And maybe that's the thing. Maybe we need to, step back and say they're getting better. You found a 7th round pick and Kyle Monungai, who looks like he's developing pretty well. Noah Sewell has played some of the best football we've seen from him this season. But it does feel like you're hoping for the best, but you're maybe prepared for the worst in this situation. And now listen, I will say this. I also was someone who said, I don't want to see the Chicago Bears go out there and be overly aggressive in the trade at the trade deadline. The reason being because I think that right now you're trying to figure out who's a part of the future of this team and who's just a piece on this team right now that you'll probably end up moving on from at the end of the season. I think that muddies the water when you bring guys in who are big names, big stars, stuff like that. But some of the big names that are out there at defensive end that we've seen moved around, I mean, heck, like you're talking about a guy like a guy that we didn't even know was on the market in Julian Phillips, right? Like that's a name for a 3rd round pick. That's a solid piece that you could have brought in here. Especially with what you've done in a lot of these 3rd and 4th rounds over the last couple of years. I think even looking at a guy like, a Bradley Chubb, like, yes, there's a little bit more attached to that. Maybe, he's got a little bit, and I don't know if the Dolphins, you have to have 2 to tango. I don't know if the Dolphins are looking to bring in a piece like that, or part with both of their edge rushers, I should say. But like, it feels like you didn't improve your pass rush. It feels like you added a body. And if the goal was to add a body, you could have signed somebody off the street and kept your pick. That's my thing with it. Like, if the goal was just to add a body that can play defensive end, like you had that guy in here. You had that guy in here with some inside-outside ability, and Tano Passanio, who, by the way, has a sack for you this season, who's been in the system. Like, it feels like you just gave up draft capital to go add a body. By the way, he's on a 1-year deal, $4.7 million, so it's not a ton of moves here, or it's not a ton of money added to your cap one way or the other. But if your goal was to add a body, what'd you get rid of a pick for? You just saw that a 7th round pick can be incredibly productive in this NFL. Again, maybe you can get more out of Joe Tryon than what we've seen out of Joe Tryon in the past. But who just Beowulf tactical in this mud? Is it DeMarcus Walker still on the market? Like, if the goal was to get a body, there are bodies available. I feel like if you're trading picks, trade picks for players that are going to be impact players on the field. I just don't see Joe Tryon being an impact player for the Chicago Bears team. I don't think that he's coming in here. And I'll be honest with you, like, based off of the PFF numbers, when he was getting the snaps, he got 577 snaps his second year down in Tampa. He was really nice in the run defense, 62.1 run defense grade, 69 pass grade. Maybe that's what you're seeing. Maybe you're hoping that you can get him back to that. I'm not saying that it is a complete miss of a move. It's a 6th-round pick at the end of the day. Like, I just think my point in all of it is, if you're going to, this feels like a go get a body. If you're going to go get a body, go get a body. Go get one that's already played for you. They went through camp. I don't know, man. You did get a 7th-round pick back as well in that trade. I guess I should have pointed that out as well. My apologies for that. But yeah, that's an interesting move by the Chicago Bears there. I'm gonna stay live for a little bit, so send your questions in. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love as always, man. Walker is better than Mingo. Let's see. We got this is another Dio signing. That means our D up front is still bad, and we will be at the bottom probably. I mean, listen, you're it's not a Dio signing because Dio cost $16 million, so it's not a Dio signing. I'm not gonna say that, but it's not a signing that feels like it's going to be incredibly impactful for you. Coffee and Bears said Bears fans talking themselves into this being a good move. I mean, here's the thing. If the rest of the season he gets the snap count and he finishes around 4 to 5 sacks, it is a good move, especially for what you've given up for it, a 6th-round pick. But there's a lot of upside that has to come from that. There's a lot of upside that has to come from that. You can't call it just a body because he's played. He's played 31 snaps this season. That's a body. He's played 31 total snaps this year. He's a body. He's played less than Tano Passanio, who was a part of this team. He's played 31 more snaps than DeMarcus Walker. No, we can call it a body. It's okay. Jay Creel said it's a head scratcher to say the least. I mean, listen, it's depth. It's depth. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the end of the world. I'm not even upset by it. I'm not even like losing my mind over it. It's just, it's a weird move when there were people there that you could have gotten. Mr. Perry says this is Dominique Robinson replacement. Could be. Now that's an interesting angle to take on this, where, you know, you've got a young guy who's up and coming who you want to develop in your system. And you also got to think too, Dennis Allen saw this guy a ton playing versus the Buccaneers. So, you know, he probably saw something in this young man that he liked and wanted to develop. And it's a different coaching staff. It is not the same. You know, it's not like adding a piece like this to a Matt Eberflus defense here. So I think there could be some development that we would actually see, and hopefully there is some of that there. So we'll hopefully they find this and are able to make the most out of this. No, Pat, you know we need a real move made. Listen, I didn't think that you were going to make a move. I didn't want to see the Bears go out and mortgage their future, because I think that the team can't think this. Ben Johnson can't think this. DA can't think, you know, this is not a Super Bowl year. And I don't want them to think that way. But for me, I don't want you to go out there and say, unless it's Max Crosby, unless it's Trey Hendrickson, unless it's Myles Garrett, maybe even Bradley Chubb in that conversation. Like, unless it's some of those names, I don't want to see you trading for 3rd and 2nd round picks to go get guys. I would rather you see what you have on this team. I said I don't want the Bears to be aggressive at the trade deadline because I didn't think that it's going to change your team that much. One piece is not going to change this team overall to the point where it's like, oh my God, the defensive line is fixed. No, you've got too much money invested in Montez Sweat, who's starting to pick it up over the last few weeks. I'm not saying he's not, but he's not playing like the kind of guy that you wanted to see. To me, Javon Dexter's kind of plateaued off. And maybe you're getting some production out of Grady Jarrett, but I think it's more on the leadership side of things. Watch highlights. He played 32 snaps this year. How do I find them? Listen, he played in Tampa. He's got highlights from Tampa. He did play in Tampa. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. What was the response to the Sweat trade, and how do we feel about that now? Listen, I think we were excited about the Sweat trade. Montez Sweat was incredibly active that year. He came over here and got you 6 more sacks. He hasn't lived up to that contract since then, but I think the trade at the time made sense. I don't want big names. I would like to see names that may not be huge. Hold on. But are at a minimum notable. And I think that's the thing, right? Like, this feels like you went out and you just traded for a guy that could fill in and be a depth piece. My whole point in all of it is that I think that you could have signed that guy without giving up the draft capital. Right? You've got a 6th round pick right now, or a 5th round pick right now that Bears fans are incredibly excited about. You've got a 7th round pick right now that is performing at a high level. Like, to say that, those guys aren't, to say that those picks are just, it's unimportant, it's a 6th round pick. You can't say that based on the team that you currently have right now. What did he say? He said, y'all needed help on the D line and got Omar Gooding. Trading for dudes on contract years is false gods or false gold. Sweat proved that. Could be. Depends. It's not always that way. I wouldn't say that it's not always that way. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it's a move that you can get the most out of them that year. Hope to see that continue in the future. And the thing with Sweat was, Sweat's minimum has been 7 to 8 sacks. It wasn't until he got here that he went. Montez Sweat was always productive. I think we view the Montez Sweat trade as like, oh, he's not a 12 sack guy, which is fine. But Montez Sweat was always productive. Like, you had to think that his floor, I typed in Montez Murphy there, his floor was at least going to be his 8 sacks that he usually got per year. What was Sweat? 7 sacks, 9, 5, 8, 12 and a half. You know what I mean? Like, for the most part, Montez Sweat was always a pretty productive player. I'm sure DA signed off on this transaction. Let's see how he plays. I don't want Booker to get the reps. So, listen, I think that's the conversation here. By the way, for everybody losing their minds right now, there's a ton of friggin' time left. Like, the trade deadline is not until 3. So the Bears could still make another move. But I do look at this as I don't know. For the people who are sitting here like, this is, I think I saw somebody in the chat say, well, at least this won't take snaps away from Austin Booker. What makes you think that? I keep telling y'all what Dennis Allen probably feels about Austin Booker. Austin Booker has a lot to overcome to be a mainstay on this team. He just does. I want him to play. I wanted us to draft him. I think the kid has talent. I think the long arm is a move that you can't teach to him. I think he's got a nice inside spin move that allows him to be able to speed past guys and go in there and get to the quarterback. But Dennis Allen don't like his defensive ends 240. 6'5", 260. Who y'all think gonna play? I would bet you, if no other move is made, Joe Tryon is probably the starting defensive end opposite Montez Sweat. I'm just saying. He had a strip sack. Give Booker reps till he proves otherwise. I don't get it. DA. Some guys they want what they want, and I think it's a system thing too, right? Like the one thing about Austin Booker is a pass rusher is fine. Austin Booker in the run game is going to get moved aside. You know what I mean? Like Austin Booker in the run game cannot set that edge that DA wants him to set. And even looking at some of the reps, right, in the run game, on the run defense, he was getting moved a little bit. That's okay. That means it's something that he can work on. And he has a skill set. He's going to want somebody out there who probably can set that edge. Joe Tryon has the size to do it. Now, does he have the skill to do it? That'll be yet to be seen. He was able to do it, though. Again, like looking at, some of his numbers and stuff like that, he was pretty solid in the run game in his time in Tampa. Metrics over performance, though, Pat. Yeah, I agree with you. I want Austin Booker out there. But I don't know how to tell y'all, like, you can't overcome a coach not playing you. You can only get in the game if you get played. How many snaps did Austin Booker play on Sunday? Austin Booker. We finally can see some snaps from him. Dang, they ain't even updated his snaps on per fifth. That's crazy. Let me see if I can find that here. Chicago Bears. Now, I appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love, man. If you haven't done so, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Make sure that you're hitting that thumbs up as well. And if you can, man, hit that hype button. Hit that hype button, man. Snap counts by team. Let's see if I can find Chicago Bears. Defensive tackles, defensive ends. Austin Booker played 37 snaps. He was out there for 54% of the snaps. That's good production the first time. I mean, that's good. Yeah, that's good rotation the first time. He was out there literally as much as Dayo Odeyingbo. But I think that's more of a conversation of lack of faith in Dayo, wanting to see more out of Austin. Montez Sweat, in comparison, 52 snaps on the field. So in comparison, you gave him half of the snaps because you're not confident at that opposite edge. If this is a guy that Dennis Allen has wanted for some time and is probably going to be that main guy, I can see him getting out there and playing a good chunk of the snaps. If you're just joining us here, Joe Tryon joining the Chicago Bears after a trade. The Bears sent a 6th-round pick over as well and got back a 7th-round pick with Joe Tryon. Joe Tryon right now, career sacks. Let me pull that up here. 15 career sacks, all of them in his time with Tampa. Does not have a single sack this season. Booker was always a multi-year project. He needed to put on a lot of healthy muscle weight. Can't just rush that muscle mass and have to be durable. 100%. 100%. Listen, I knew that it was a long-term deal to get a guy like Austin Booker out there. It's why I wanted you to go get him late. But I did think that he was somebody that could make a pretty big impact for you if you gave him the opportunity. In 37 snaps, he got a strip sack, and you saw him create some pressure in the backfield. I can't say that he created a ton, but you saw a flash play. Can you show me more? Can you show me more? Beyond Be Amazing said Dennis Allen wanted him, then bro probably garbage. I'm not saying that. I ain't saying that. The Dayo move looks ugly right now. The Dayo move looks ugly right now. I'll say what? But it certainly feels like he's a full-on replacement for Dayo Odeyingbo. He certainly feels like he is a full-on replacement for Dio Adangbo. Listen, I hope this young man comes here and balls, right? Like at the end of the day, you know, you've traded low draft capital for him. The odds are that he's going to get his opportunity to go out there and play. You've seen what he's done in the past. If he replicates what he did in 2023 with more snaps, like I said, I would assume he's probably coming here to get more of the lion's share of the snaps. If you're able to replicate that, then we'll all be sitting here happy as a clam. But you got to find somebody at that opposite edge position. And I think what's tough for a lot of Bears fans to deal with right now is there were edges available to you at multiple turns, and you didn't go out and get one of those guys. Like to me, like I want this young man to come here and ball out. I want this young man to come here and dominate. But you've gone down this path before, and it has not turned into an elite edge on that opposite side. You went down this path and paid $16 million for this guy. Like, honestly, like that's the part for Bears fans where it's like there were clear-cut guys that you look at and you can go, boom, there's an answer at your defensive end if you want to address it this offseason, and you didn't go after any of them. That's the part where Bears fans are a little bit upset here. Tana in the building said, what up, Pat? I know for sure the next draft will definitely be defensive picks. We've had a rough season on that side health-wise. I hope so. How many drafts in a row have we said that? How many drafts in a row have we said that? We said last draft, oh, there's no way he doesn't go out there and add a defensive piece or a defensive end with the how the line looked last season. There's no way that he comes into the season yet again without somebody who's top 40 in pressures this season, because you didn't have a single player on your team last year who was top 40 in pressures. Guess what we started the season with this year? Not a single player who was top 40 in pressures last season. Again, the one thing that I do like about this trade with Joe Tryon is when Joe Tryon got the opportunity, even in Cleveland, even seeing him in Tampa, was he was really good at creating pressure. Limited snaps in Cleveland, 31 snaps in total. But in his time in Tampa, he was good at creating pressure. He was good at setting the edge on that run. But you got to get him back to that. We're 9 games into the season. It ain't just going to be, this ain't Madden. He don't just walk in with his stats up. You got to get him back into that rotation. So we'll see what ends up happening here. I'm trying to stay live for a little while to see if any other news here happens, which is why I've stayed live this long. I haven't seen anything else. Y'all let me know if y'all have seen anything else from the Bears as of yet. Check in here with Rappaport real quick before I get up out of here, just to make sure that nothing is nothing there. Let's see. We got Breer. Jaguars and Seahawks did a trade for wide receiver Jacoby Brett. All right, there's nothing there. Of course, check the GOAT himself, Mr. Shefty. Bro, some of the other moves that have been made today are insane, bro. But I will say this. Sauce Gardner going to the Colts was not on my bingo card. But Sauce Gardner is kind of falling off a cliff. Is that Sauce Gardner, or is that because he was with the Jets? Like, did Sauce Gardner get free, or did the Jets just come up on 2 first-round picks? Look at the Jay Glazer tweet. All right, let's see what we got from Jay Glazer. Mr. Glazer. It's got to be a rough name. Let's see what Jay Glazer is saying. As apparently I am starving right now. Big trade for Jets, and they may not be done either. AD Mitchell traded for Sauce Gardner. Nothing there. Colts are another team in the corner. Nothing there. Yo, Yo, Jay, do you think that Ryan Poles will be active today? Yes, but that doesn't mean it's going to land a big name player. There just aren't those level of players being shopped unless it's for a huge haul. For some guys, their deals are up after this year, so it complicates things. I don't see anything splashy. Yeah, I agree. I didn't think the Bears were going to do too much splashy. And I'll be honest with you. Like, I don't think that the biggest concern right now is that the DB room is able to play back up to par. You ain't going up against Jamar Chase and T. Higgins every week. So I think the Bears are probably going to take that a little bit with a grain of salt. But what I will say is that nothing matters if you don't get the pressure up front. Maybe this was the move that was for the pressure up front. Jets won that 2 picks and a wide receiver. Yeah. That's that's a crazy thing. Question, Pat. I know you had smoke for Poles, rightfully so, but do you think? Let's scroll down for me and say he's redeemed himself a lot with an upgrade in coaching staff to help him with better personnel decisions. Well, I'll say this. I think that he got the coach right. You do have to give him credit for that. He's gotten the staff for the most part right this year. I think that you do have to give him credit for that. There are injuries that have happened that are, I mean, like the defensive line injuries, the DB injuries, like there's some things that you just can't control. So I don't, this defense is different with Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon playing it. It just is. You went out and you got CJ Gardner-Johnson. Dio is not good enough. That's 100. He's not good enough. What I think you've done is you've bought yourself enough time for us to look at Ryan Poles and say, okay, what are you doing from here on out? What makes it tough is looking through your first draft class with the new regime. Shamar Turner was non-existent. That's a second round pick. Maybe that's because of injury. Ozzie Trapillo has not played. He's a second round pick. He's not going to fit in at right tackle. So left tackle not working out is kind of crazy, especially with Theo Benedict. I mean, Theo Benedict was a fun story for 2 weeks. He's kind of struggled though. And Luther Burden is solid. Ends up getting a concussion. Also not utilized a ton. Colston Level in the first round. Finally starting to pick it up. Big touchdown to win us the game. You've seen the talent the entire season. Got to utilize him more. Third round, or no, we traded our third round. Fourth round is Ruben Hippolyte. Doesn't exist. Problem. That's a problem. Like I can look through this draft to see a bunch of guys that just don't exist on your team right now. Now you're 5-3, so it makes it all a little bit easier. And you can say, well, we're developing these guys while we're winning the football game. I agree. I love it. But we know the realities of this league and being successful for a long time, that you got to win through the draft. And the Bears have not done that enough as of recent. There's not enough draft picks that we can look at and go, this makes sense. Michael Banks with a super chat, shout out to you. He said, let's say we make the playoffs. What do we add to this roster? You're saying we make the playoffs, we get beat in the playoffs. What do we add to this roster? I would say if we get beat and we make the playoffs in the second half of the season, especially looking at the gauntlet of this schedule, you need to add defensive lines heavily. Poor Donnie Mitchell going from the best team in football to the worst. That's gotta suck. And I think when you look at next season, right, like you've run out of pieces to go in other spots. Kyler Gordon's here. He signed. He's going to be fine. Jalen Johnson is here. You hope that he comes back and he's able to continue to play at a high level. Jaquan Brisker is here. Do you re-sign him? There's a question mark there. There's a question mark there, but he's balling in Dennis Allen's system, and he's somebody who's gotten a ton of praise from the coaches in this building, and he's been healthy this year. You've added C.J. Gardner-Johnson. That's a piece you might keep moving forward. The DBs are fine in the future. Even if they're not, I've told you, I trust the DB guy with the kids. You can find DBs. I expect Zay Frazier to come back from whatever ended up happening with his situation and walk in the building and be 100% like, oh, look at that guy. He learned all offseason. He figured things out, and now he's a dominant player. But none of that matters if you don't get pressure on the quarterback. It's the only thing you need to fix. I ain't gonna lie to you. For all the people like screaming left tackle, why, yes, I want a left tackle. I need to fix left tackle. It's fine. It ain't great. It ain't good. It's fine. I would rather have the defensive line fixed with the four dominant, or I ain't gonna say dominant, with the four pieces that you currently have the answers at on the offensive line. I need pressure from the defensive line. Because the thing that you're seeing is if you have fine, last year you didn't have fine. Last year you had a bunch of literal doo-doo water. You know what I mean? Like you had bad players. This year you've got fine. And with fine, Caleb Williams can cut his sack numbers completely down because he can move out of the way and step up in the pocket and then evade and do a little spin-a-rooney and roll out to the right and get rid of the football. Like that's fine. For me, you get no pressure. First, the Bengals. The Bengals offensive line didn't just magically get pixie dust sprinkled on it, and they can play football. You need answers. Left tackle is the biggest issue. We have to protect Caleb. Caleb's pretty protected this year. Caleb Williams right now, I don't know where it ranks. Let's see. NFL QB sack ranks. I would say he's probably bottom third of the NFL right now in being sacked. Let's see. Caleb Williams right now ranks 24th in the NFL in being sacked. He's got 14 sacks on the season. Again, not saying it's great. But it is better. At this point last year, I don't even know what he had at this point last year, bro. Bro, I don't even know what he had at this point last year. Let me see if I can look that up and break it down in the ring. He's number one on the list, 68 sacks. He's got 14 through 9 weeks. He's got 14 through 9. He had 68 sacks last season, bro. I don't know what it was through week 9, but it was a lot. It was a lot. To me, I need the defensive line to be the answer. Baki said, oh boy, here we go. The Jets are trading 3-time Pro Bowler defensive line Quinnen Williams to the Cowboys. New York gets a 2026 first round pick and more for Williams, who gets a fresh start at age 27. Quinnen Williams going to the Dallas Cowboys. That's a name that we thought was going to be. So a 20, is that it? Oh, 2026 first round pick and more. What's the more? What's the more? I mean, if you're starting with 2026, so now here's the question. Because that's a name that Bears fans wanted. Now here's the question. With I don't know, 2026 first rounder. I'd probably not be that upset if I had heard that's what the Bears traded as far as the first round pick. Depends on what the and more is. If you are trying to go get Quinnen Williams, is that price too high? Because now we see one of the major names that was talked about as far as defensive line get moved. Is that price too high? By the way, that's a great move for Fluce's defense. Fluce's defense probably is going to start working now. You've got Kenny Clark and you've got Quinnen Williams. That's a great move for Fluce's defense. Depends on what the and more is, but I don't know. Is that too big of a deal right there? Like, you're talking about a first round pick and more. If the and more is like second round capital, if it's, I don't know. I was thinking like, yo, I got a second round pick for you, maybe. Smug Hayes calling me. I'm live. What up?
Oh, I was saying we predicted Quinnen Williams to get traded to the Cowboys.
I'm talking about it right now. I'm talking about it. Right
I'm like, look at me and Pat predicting the exact trade, bro. That's crazy.
Well, we kind of knew that was coming. We'll see what ends up happening now. What are your thoughts on? Tell the people, what are your thoughts on Joe Tryon?
I mean, I think it's a solid depth piece. I mean, when you go and look at it, when he actually plays as a backup, he's gotten 2, 4, 5 sacks. So I think this is like, this gives Austin Booker a chance to start, show what he can bring over the season, add some quality depth. It's a solid move. Not the big swing a lot of Bears fans wanted to see, but it's a solid move.
Yeah, we'll see. Feel like a body to me, but hopefully he can play.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. He's gonna be better than Dio.
I mean, that's basically like saying if I stand up, I'm taller than when I was sitting down.
Fair enough. Touche, motherfucker. Touche.
All right, Brody. Let me finish this live. I'll let you later, man.
All right, bro. Peace.
All right, bro. Peace. Big shout out to Hayes and the boys over at Chicago Bears Central, man. Make sure y'all tap in with them too. We'll see. We'll see what ends up happening here. 15 sacks his first 4 years. T Live 100%. I think that this is going to be a wait and see move. It's a move that has low capital for upside. It's a move that has low capital for upside. Do I love it? Nah. Do I hate it? Nah. I think it is literally a wait and see move. Now, do we got what I want to see what the and more is for Quinnen Williams. Brian Stain says, I just hope the kicker situation gets taken care of at the end of the season. Baby steps, sure. Has anybody tweeted out? I'm sitting here looking at Tom Pelissero. Has anybody tweeted out what the and more is for Quinnen Williams? By the way, Shefty, would you just take the day off, brother? Oh, no, he's got it in replies. Why is that under his replies? That's crazy. Is Breece Hall the next to go? Watch the Bears go get another running back. I swear to God, if the Bears trade for Breece Hall, bro, the Bears go get another running back. Oh, my goodness. If the Bears go out and get another running back. King Booker World said, it's a dude. If he goes out and gets 2 sacks, it was worth it better than Dio. Yeah, we'll see. Bro, 0 notifications. You were live, Pat. Just FYI. Oh, I don't know why YouTube does that, Mikey. I don't know. Like, sometimes I'll be honest with you. And I tell everybody this: if you see news break, more than likely I am live. So just check the channel, because sometimes YouTube is just like, we're going to notify these people and not these people. Also, I will say this. The one thing, if you guys are normally in here and they don't notify you, if you're not hitting the like button or sharing the button, YouTube basically says, oh, you watched this, but you didn't really enjoy it. So That's why I always say hit that like button, subscribe to the page, reasons like that. Hit the notification bell if you are set up for the notification bells, because then they like to do that. They like to, just be like, oh, well, you didn't like this video in a while, so you must not like this channel. We won't show it to you anymore. What you say? Tana said the Bears will trade for P. Ryan. Brees Hall is a move you make in the offseason, not right now with the way our running game is going. Yeah, why would you? Why would you? You know what I mean? Why would you? Hey, and Kevin, you are 100% right, brother. I haven't done this all show. Over 100 in the chat. Over 200 in the chat. Over 300 in the chat. Over 400 in the chat. Over 500 in the chat. 500. Appreciate y'all for tuning in to show. I love, man. I'm really just trying to see so that we can have. Okay, so Jay Glazer tweeting this out. Teams are still shout out to Baki. He just tweeted it to me. Teams are still finalizing compensation, but as of now, the Cowboys are trading a second-round pick this year and next year's first-round pick for Pro Bowl defensive tackle Quinnen Williams. So they're still finalizing, and they're trading a second this year and a first next year. So they're still fine. So they're not done adding compensation. And they traded a second this year and a first next year. Bears fans, is that too much? Let's see what we got here. So is that it? Ooh, if there's no more, hold on. If there's no more, that might not be too much. For Quinnen Williams, the Jets trade Quinnen Williams. The Cowboys trade a 2026 second round pick and a 2027 first round pick. That is the full expected trade as of right now, but we'll see. Quinnen Williams, 27 years old. And that could have been a nice little cornerstone piece for you in the middle if the Bears wanted to go out and address it at that capital. And the reason I say that is because we're talking about a pass rusher here and Joe Tryon, who has some upside. You got him for low compensation. We know how that goes. Quinnen Williams, you guarantee what you get for him. He's a dog. He's a monster. You know what you're getting from Quinnen Williams. 27 years old. A second this year, a first next year. Would that be too much? Steve-O saying we're not good enough yet, too much yet. Second round and first round. Now you got to get them right. That's kind of what I think that's the tough part for some people, right? Is they look at it and they say, well, Ryan Poles hasn't drafted well anyway, so why not go get the player that's already good? I understand that. But that can't be the mindset that you move forward with, because you won't be a team that is winning. Also, if I'm not mistaken, let me check here. You probably would have had to restructure a ton because, see what we got here. Yeah, Quinnen Williams on a 4-year, $96 million deal, get an average of $24 million per year. He signed that 2 years ago. So what would that be now? What's he making now? He's coming into next year. He'll be making $26 million and then $30 million. So would that be too much for you? Bruja said way too much for Crosby. Sure. Not for Williams. Well, listen, for Max Crosby, I'd trade Joel. You know what I mean? For the Cowboys, that is too much. That window isn't just closed. It's bricked over. Listening to some fans wanting the Bears to trade away first, second, and third picks for other teams' cast-off. Well, I don't think that what we're seeing from the Jets is cast-offs. I think what we're seeing from the Jets is like you're throwing buoys out to people that have been lost at sea, and you're trying to save those people. Not paying it, not today. Crosby is different and worth it 100%. Austin said, I agree that since Ben Johnson has been part of the draft, that we'd be better off drafting unless we're able to get a superstar like Crosby or Gay. And I'll be honest with you, like, I'll give a second for the so-so and a so-so producer. I'll be honest with you. I think that was always my thing with the conversation was, you know, if this team was going to be impactful for the future, that you had to do it through the draft. You have to find those pieces that you could be young with, because you got to pick Caleb Williams if he's the guy. If in 2 years Caleb Williams is the guy, he's going to make a lot of money. You got Rome Odunze that hopefully you see as the guy. You're paying him. You got Colston Loveland coming up. Like you need to build this thing through the draft. You need to find your Quentin Williams through the draft. The concern is that right now, Javon Dexter hasn't proven that he's that guy. Nice piece, a piece that can get pressure, a piece that can win matchups, but not a piece that you look at and you go, that's a dog in the middle. Quentin Williams is a dog, so I understand some of the people that, it's so a player is in this as well. Oh. Hold on, I'm sitting here looking up the numbers so I can comment fairly here, because this is turning into a little package here. I mean, it is what it is. I don't think that's worked out there for them as well. Along with a second round pick and a future first, the Jets are trading defensive tackle Mozzie Smith, sources have said. So not only are you giving up a first, a second, whatever it is, you're also giving up a player. Like, I get it. Mozzie Smith has not panned out for this team or for this Dallas team, but I mean, that's a lot. Mozzie Smith got 2 sacks over his career right now. 2024, man. Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, he played 17 games last year, 1 sack. Now, granted, he's from that interior position. You don't expect a ton of sacks, but 1 sack is tough. Hey, man, I got to go do the Chicago Bears podcast as well. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love as always. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Make sure that you guys are subscribed to the page and have that notification bell hit. And again, like I said, if YouTube does not send you a notification and you see Bears news, you see some Bulls news, you see something crazy, more than likely the Windy City Breeze is live. Make sure to tap in with us on that. As always, though, it's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bear down, one love. Chicago Bears signed Joe Tryon, or trade for Joe Tryon.